All right, here we go. The One Piece TCG has been skyrocketing in popularity, and card prices are starting to get pretty crazy out here. I mean, just look at these Kuma cards. So today, let's take a look at 10 competitive One Piece decks you can build for under $120. With these 10 decks, we'll show them in order from most expensive to least expensive, and then we'll talk about which ones I think are strongest in the current meta. And just to preview, only 3 of these decks cost over $100, and 1 costs less than $30. So let's dive in. Timestamps are listed below. Any comments or questions you have, just put them in the comment section below. Here we go. But first, a word from our sponsor, which is nobody, because we are still a new channel. But if you leave a like and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. All right, let's go. Okay, starting off with the most expensive deck on our list, we have Blue Yellow Nami, and this is a no Kuma version. And just to lay out some criteria for these decks today, number 1, they must currently be under $120 as of January 27th, 2026. Number 2, they must have at least one top placement in a flagship tournament, with 2 exceptions on our list because we had no early data from the East on the EB04 support. And number 3, they must only include cards that are currently released or will be available by EB03 in February at the latest. No EB04 leaders today, sorry Red Yellow Bonnie, but here we have a top placing Nami deck list, so let's check out how it's built out. And by the way, this won't be a in-depth breakdown on how to play these decks, but feel free to pause and look over any of the cards if you like. So starting off, this deck is running 4 Nojiko, 4 Zeus, 4 Young Girl, 4 Otama, 2 X-Drake, 2 Charlotte Pudding, 4 Kikanojo, 4 of the 5-cost Nami. This card doesn't come out until EB03, so we'll have to wait until then to get the full pricing. They're also running 4 Silver's Rayleigh, 2 Trafalgar Law, 4 Nico Robin, another EB03 character, 3 Eustace Captain Kidd, 4 of this event, Will You Be My Servant, 2 of this blue event, If I Bow Down to Power, What's the Point in Living, and then 3 Gum Gum Red Rock. And altogether, this build is running $116. So, Blue Yellow Nami combines life manipulation and character removal effects to gain a major advantage. Our leader's ability allows us to build our resources in hand, and also defend ourselves with Nami's plus 2000 power boost during our opponent's turn. If you want to play a deck that's very strong at controlling our opponent's game plan, this may be the deck for you. Okay, on to deck number 2, we got Crocodile, one of the new OP14 leaders. For this winning deck list here, they're running 4 Miss Wednesday, 2 Miss Golden Week, 4 Miss Valentine, 4 Miss Merry Christmas, 4 Mr. 2 Bon Curry, 2 Mr. 4 Babe, 3 Miss Doublefinger, 4 Mr. 1 Das Bones, 3 Mr. 5, 4 Miss All Sunday, 4 Crocodile, the 8-cost, 4 of this event Patchwork, 4 Ground Death, and then 4 Disappointed. Now overall, this list is pretty similar to most Crocodile lists that you'll find in competitive play, but this build is coming in at $102. So Crocodile mainly utilizes cost-based effects throughout the deck list, which is useful because of our leader ability to give an opponent's character -10 cost. For example, Mr. 1, if there's a character with the cost of 0, he can attack characters on the turn he's played. We also have Miss Wednesday, who can give an opponent's 0-cost character -3000 power. And of course, we have our boss Crocodile, who can freeze any character with a cost of 9 or less. So if you want to play one of the brand new OP14 decks focused on using cost-based effects to control our opponent's board, this may be the deck for you. Okay, and for deck number 3, we got Kaido. Kaido just received some very strong EB04 support, so let's take a look at this list here. We're running 4 of the 1-cost Queen, 4 Black Maria, 4 Usohachi, 2 X-Drake, 4 of the 5-cost Queen, 4 of the new King, 2 Ulti, 4 of the new Kaido, 4 Goldie Roger, new promo card, 3 of the 10-cost Kaido, and then for our events, we're running 4 Gum Gum Jet Gatling, 3 Flame Dragon Torch, and then 4 we're going to claim the One Piece. We also have 4 of our stage, Onigashima Island, originally from the starter 4 deck, and altogether this build is running $101. So for Kaido, this deck utilizes Dawn Ramping, removal prevention, and heavy hitting bodies to take over the game. With this 10-cost Kaido ability, combined with the 7-cost Kaido and King who are safe from KO effects, you can literally nuke your whole opponent's board in one move. So if your goal is to overpower your opponents, this deck may be for you. Okay, on to deck number 4. We got purple Don Quixote Doflamingo. Now this is just one of the many winning deck lists, so feel free to experiment. But for this list, we're running 4 Sugar, 4 Dellinger, 3 Uso Hachi, 4 Sugar, 4 Baby 5, 3 Don Quixote Rocinante, 1 2K Counter Monet, 4 Virgo, 4 Treble, 4 of the 5-cost Dawn Ramping Monet, 4 of our 8-cost Doflamingo, 1 Charlotte Katakuri, 3 of our 10-cost Doflamingo, and then for our events, we're running 3 Divine Departure, and then 4 Slow Beam Sword. And overall, this build is running $98. Top to bottom, this deck may have the most synergy in this whole list. Although it does take some time to learn, Purple Dofi combines Dawn Ramping, Control, and huge board presence to outlast our opponents. With many on-KO effects and our leader ability to redirect our opponent's attacks, this deck is very flexible at adapting to any matchup. So if you're looking for a versatile deck and willing to put in some time to learn it, Dofi is capable of defeating any of the top decks in the OP14 meta. Side note, I also have a purple Dofi deck guide on my channel you can check out if you want a full breakdown of the deck. Okay, let's move on to deck number 5, Red Black Sabo. OP13 leader, one of my personal favorites. For this winning list right here, they're running 4 Bello Betty, 4 Koala, 2 Garp, 4 of the 4-cost Koala. This card comes out in EB03. 2 Morley, 4 of the 4-cost Sabo. This is a new promo card. They're running 2 of the 5-cost Blocker Sabo, 2 of the 2K Counter Hack, 4 of the 6-cost Secret Rare Sabo, 4 of the 6-cost 2K Counter Sabo, 4 of the 7-cost Ain, 2 Red Monkey D Dragon, and then 2 of the Black Monkey D Dragon, 2 Stussy, 4 Hair Removal Fist, also called Waxing Fist over on the sim, and then 4 of our stage, Revolutionary Army HQ. And altogether, this build is coming out to $72. Now, Sabo is another leader that's getting new support in EB03, as well as the release of the promo 4-cost Sabo. The game plan with this deck requires patience, but boy does it pay off. The later the game goes, the stronger our board, relying on 8-cost characters and big body blockers to widen our field and shut down our opponent. If you enjoy a playstyle that focuses heavily on mid-late game strategy, this is a great deck to build, and one of my personal favorites too. Now on to the final 5. Next we have Green Zoro. Another personal favorite of mine. It's the deck I was playing at locals for all of OP13, but for this list here, we're running 1 Scratchman Apu, 4 Hiyori, 4 Perona, 4 Kushiro, 4 of the 2K Counter Mihawk, 3 Kuina, 4 of the 4-cost Zoro, 4 Kazuki Odin. This card is new in OP14. They're running 4 Cavendish, 4 Tashigi, 3 Trafalgar Law, and then for our events, we're running 4 I Know You're Strong, so I'll go all out from the very start. 4 of our restand event, Luffy is the man who will become the king of pirates, and then 3, the weak do not have the right to choose how they die. And overall, Green Zoro is coming in at $66. Green Zoro was one of the top 3 decks of OP13, and it's still a very solid option in the current meta. Our game plan with this deck centers around our leader's ability to swing into our opponent's board, then restand to swing into their life. Cards like Tashigi and Kuina allow us to control the board, KOing their characters or draining their counter resources. So if you're looking for a deck without too much complexity that puts a lot of pressure on our opponent, this may be the deck for you. Now on to the final 4. Next up we have Red Blue Nefeltari Vivi. New leader coming out in EB03, one that I'm very excited for. Over in the East, Vivi's been doing pretty well, so for this winning list here, let's check it out. They're running 4 of the 1-cost Vivi, 4 of the 2-cost Egram, 3 Koza, 4 Tony Chopper, 4 of the PRBO2 Kobe, 4 of the EB03 Nami, 4 Nefeltari Vivi, another EB03 card, 4 of the blue 5-cost Nami, 4 Nefeltari Cobra, 4 Ben Beckman, 4 Silvers Rayleigh, 4 of the 10-cost Shanks, and then 2 Gum Red Rock. And overall, this list comes out to just about $50. Personally, I think Vivi is the most fun deck to play on this list. Our leader's ability allows us to protect our characters, and a lot of cards synergize to control our opponent's board by reducing their power and with removal effects. And in the late game, we can dominate our opponents by slamming down our 10-cost bodies like Shanks and Kaido, using Vivi's second ability to rush in for the attack right away. We will have to wait for the EB03 release to finish building this deck, but if you're looking for a deck that combines power and board control, now may be a great time to start collecting. Alright, on to the next. We have Jinbe, the new blue OP14 leader, and for this winning list here, they're running 2 Kaya, 4 of the 1-cost Arlong, 4 of the 1-cost Chu, 3 Hachon, 3 Koala, 4 of the Wadatsumi, 3 Charlotte Pudding, 4 Aladdin, 4 of the Trafalgar Law that can bounce a 4-cost character back to hand, 4 Jozu, 4 Fisher Tiger, 4 of the 8-cost Jinbe, and then for the events, 3 Perfume Femur, 3 Gum Gum Red Rock, and then 1 Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. So overall, this build right here is running right around $64. So Jinbe is another one of the brand new OP14 decks and probably the most aggressive deck on this deck list. Our goal is to flood the board with our Fishmen and Merfolk characters and power them up with our leader ability. And in the late game, we have our 8-cost Rush Jinbe to go for lethal. If you're looking for an aggro deck that puts a lot of pressure on our opponents, this deck may be a great option for you. Next up, we have Emu, the overall best performing deck from OP13, and they're back with new support in OP14 with this Ground Death event. But for this deck list here, they are running 2 Shirahoshi, 4 Saint Sharia, 4 Saint Josgard, 4 Saint Saturn, 4 Saint Mercury, 4 Nosturo, 4 Saint Mars, 4 Saint Jupiter, 4 of the 5 Elders, and then for the events, 4 of the 5 Elders are at your service. 2, the world's equilibrium cannot be maintained forever. 4, never existed in the first place. 4, ground death. Then our 2 stages, the most significant one being the empty throne. This list is pretty much going to be the same no matter what Emu list you're looking at. There may be slight variation in the ratios of the events, but overall, this deck is coming out to $50.65. And now if you've watched my Emu matchups, you may be able to tell that I'm not the biggest fan, but that's mostly because I've gotten my butt kicked by this deck too many times. The best performing deck of OP13 returns in OP14, still a top meta deck. It's centered around the 5 Elders, each with a unique ability to control the game. If you're looking for a deck with late game strategy and are willing to put in some time to learn it, this may be the deck for you. Okay, and on to our final deck on our list, Blue Kuzan, OP12 leader that just got some more support in EB04. For this winning list here, they're running 4 of the 1-cost Tashigi, 2 of the 1-cost Rosinante, 4 Sengoku, 4 of the 3-cost Hina, 2 Bluegrass, one of the new EB04 cards, 2 Gion, 2 Charlotte Pudding, 4 of the new Isho, 3 Suru, 3 Zephyr, 4 of the 6-cost Kuzan, 4 Sakazuki, 4 of the 8-cost Monkey D. Garp. For our events, we're running 4 Ice Block Pheasant Peck, 2 Red Rock, and then 2 Gravity Blade. Overall, Kuzan comes in at $27.22. By far the most affordable deck on our list. I don't think there's a single card that's over $1, except maybe Red Rock, and then Grav Blade is like $1.19. So this deck is mad cheap. Blue Kuzan is another deck that just received some very strong support. Our game plan with this deck focuses on building resources in hand and going wide on the board with multiple 8,000 power bodies. A lot of our characters have very strong effects, but they force us to trash cards from hand to use them. Luckily, however, with our leader ability, we get to draw cards to replace them right away. So if you're looking for a super budget deck that aims to maximize our resources and build an overwhelming board presence, this may be the deck for you. Alright, so here's a recap of all the decks, and next let's talk about which ones are strongest in the current format. And let me start by saying OP14 is very diverse. You have a lot of options depending on your preferred playstyle. Take my opinions with a grain of salt, but hopefully this video leaves you with a picture of each deck's general game plan and price points. That way you can take it from there. Okay, for our rankings, we have S tier, A tier, B tier, and Sleeper. Starting with the B tier, Kaido, Zoro, and Sabo. All these decks are strong in their own right, but have their weaknesses. Kaido can run out of resources if we can't protect our Dawn ramping cards, like Black Maria. Sabo can be vulnerable to lethal attacks if our opponent runs unblockable events, like the new Yellow Luffy event. There's Perfume Femur and Boa. I think Red-Green Luffy has Sanji. Blue-Yellow Nami runs an unblockable event, so we just have to be careful when we're in the late game. And Zoro, he can struggle to finish off games if we don't draw our restand events. But still, if we find the cards we need on curve, these decks can hang with anyone at the top of the meta. Okay, next in our A tier, we got Crocodile, Jinbe, and Emu. Compared to the B tier, I'd say these decks just have a little bit more flexibility in our plan, whether we need to focus on controlling our opponent's board or increase our aggression and go for the attack. And then in our S tier, we got Purple Doflamingo and Blue Yellow Nami, with Dofi being the number one on my list. I think both of these decks have the most versatility with our game plan, allowing us to adapt to any matchup within the meta. Blue Yellow Nami can dominate our opponent's board while building up our hand and life, and Dofi can overpower our opponents with huge board presence and control. Now Dofi probably is the most complex deck to learn in this list, besides maybe Emu, but if you put in the time, you will be greatly rewarded. Okay, and to finish off with our sleeper decks, we got Red Blue Vivi and Blue Kuzan. Both of these decks can catch our opponents off guard and swing the game heavily in our favor, especially if our opponents fall behind early. Kuzan can build a huge hand and board to outlast our opponents, and Vivi is a really fun deck capable of slowing our opponents down and getting some really cool characters on the board. Okay, and that's gonna do it here for today. If you're looking to be competitive at your local tournaments, hopefully this list gave you a starting place for choosing a deck. Let me know in the comments if there are any other budget decks that you're competing with in OP14, or if there's any other budget decks in general that you'd want me to cover. Okay, that's gonna do it. We'll be back with another one. Peace.